On completion of our investigation into the data breach incident relating to the South China Athletic Association, we published an investigation report today. The investigation arose from a data breach notification submitted by the association to my office on the 18th of March this year, reporting that its servers had been attacked by ransomware and maliciously encrypted. After considering some preliminary information provided by the association, I commenced an investigation into the incident to assess whether the association's acts and practices relating to the incident had contravened any requirements under the Personal Data Privacy Ordinance. During the investigation, I conducted 5 rounds of inquiries regarding the security measures adopted by the association at the time of the incident, and also considered various information and materials provided by the association, including an incident response report provided by an external cybersecurity consultant engaged by the association and the follow-up and remedial actions taken by the association after the incident. The range of personal data affected by the incident, I would say, is huge. The incident affected the personal data of 72,350 members of the association, and the personal data affected included members' names, Hong Kong identity card numbers, passport numbers, photos, dates of birth, addresses, email addresses, telephone numbers, and the names and telephone numbers of emergency contact persons. At this juncture, I would like to thank the association for its cooperation during the investigation process and for providing us with all relevant information and materials relating to the investigation. Having considered the circumstances of the incident and the information obtained during the investigation, I find that the following deficiencies of the association contributed to the happening of the incident. The deficiencies were accidental exposure of the relevant server to the internet, lack of effective detection measures in the association's information systems, failure to enable multi-factor authentication for administrator accounts, lack of policies and guidelines on information security, absence of regular risk assessments and security audits of its information systems, and also lack of offline data backup solutions, which led to the data backup data being encrypted in the incident. And this also increased the difficulties of recovering the relevant data after the incident. I would like to highlight some of the more important deficiencies here. Accidental exposure of the relevant server to the internet. I would say it is a major deficiency because this significantly increased the risk of cyber attacks to the computer systems of the association. As a result, the hacker used the server concerned as a stepping stone to infiltrate the association's network and launch ransomware attacks. Another major deficiency which we have found relates to the lack of effective detection measures in the information systems to identify the malicious activities of the hacker conducted in January 2022. And this allowed the hacker to subsequently intrude into the network of the association 2 years later, in March this year, through the malware created on the compromised server, remotely control the affected computers, create accounts with administrative rights, and disable the antivirus and anti-malware software on the server concerned. In other words, even though the association did install antivirus and anti-malware software in its network, the hacker managed to turn it off successfully during the attack. In particular, I would like to highlight 2 days. Between the 15th and 16th of March this year, the hacker conducted brute force attacks on the association's information system. And what are brute force attacks? Basically, in a brute force attack, the hacker would use a computer program to generate a huge amount of passwords. And the hacker would use these passwords to try to gain access to the computer system. And in this case, the hacker made over 43,400 login attempts on another administrator account of the compromised server, with more than 20,000 attempts recorded within a 4-hour period. I would say this is an alarming figure of attempts. And this could occur because the association had not enabled the intruder logout function for failed login attempts at the material time. And this was the reason why the hacker was able to continue the brute force attacks without interruption. On the basis of all these findings, I would say that the investigation reveals that the association's awareness of the need to protect the personal data of its members was weak, and the association, as a long-established sports association holding a significant amount of personal data, should be vigilant about cybersecurity and data security. I'm very disappointed that the association failed to implement effective information system security measures to safeguard members' personal data prior to the incident. I believe that if the association had deployed sufficient detection measures or alert tools back in 2022 to detect abnormal activities on the relevant server, there would have been a good chance of detecting the malicious activities at the early stage of the hacking attack, with appropriate measures taken to prevent the hacker from installing malware on the association's network, thereby avoiding the incident. In the circumstances, I find that the association have not taken all practicable steps to ensure that the personal data involved was protected against unauthorized or accidental access, processing, erasure, loss, or use, thereby contravening Data Protection Principle 4 of the Personal Data Privacy Ordinance concerning the security of personal data. I've therefore served an enforcement notice on the association, directing it to take remedial measures to remedy the contravention and also prevent similar recurrence of the contravention in future. I will now turn to the trend of data breach notifications. On the trend of data breach notifications, we note that there has been an increase, an upward trend in data breach incidents involving schools and NGOs. For last year, in 2023, my office received a total of 157 data breach notifications. Among them, 61 cases were from schools and NGOs, and this accounted for about 39% of the total number of cases. And I would say this represented an increase of almost 1.5 times when we compare this figure, the figure of 61 to 25 back in 2022. In the first 3 quarters of this year, my office received 51 data breach notifications from schools and NGOs, and this accounted for about 1/3 of the total. This figure is comparable to the percentage of similar notifications which we received year on year. And I expect that the total figure of notifications from schools and NGOs, which we will be receiving for the rest of this year, will continue to rise. In the circumstances, we recommend schools and NGOs to stay vigilant against any possible cyber attacks. They should allocate sufficient resources to enhance data security measures so as to minimize the risk of cyber attacks on their information systems, on their personal data systems. And I will also encourage organizations to make reference to the various guidances issued by us to assist organizations to protect their data security and also to ensure cyber security. And these include, for example, the guidance on data security measures for ICT and also the guidance on data breach handling. Incidentally, in support of the policy directive of the CE, as stated in his policy address, to bolster cyber security and to strengthen the capabilities of schools, NGOs, and SMEs in safeguarding data security and cybersecurity, we would like to launch the data security package today. I encourage organizations to register for this package. Under this package, participating organizations will receive 5 free quotas to join our professional workshops and seminars once they have completed an assessment by the data security scanner. By the way, the data security scanner is a toolkit developed by my office to help organizations to carry out a preliminary assessment, online assessment of the adequacy of their data security measures. Once they completed a list of 12 questions, they will receive an assessment report from my office setting out the areas where they can improve their data security, together with some relevant reference materials. And on completion of this assessment by the data security scanner, organizations will receive 5 free quotas to attend our workshops. I will encourage interested schools, NGOs, and SMEs to further approach us to obtain further information on the data security package. And meanwhile, we have also launched the thematic webpage on data security and the data security hotline 2110-1155. If organizations have any questions about data security and compliance issues, they are welcome to call this hotline. On public education, we will be co-organizing 2 respective seminars for the education sector and NGOs on data security in coming December. Meanwhile, we have been organizing in-house seminars tailored to the needs of individual organizations all along, with the protection of data security added or included as part of the contents of the seminars. And for this year, in the first 9 months, we have already organized in-house seminars for 92 organizations.